innovative, you know, enough to call it the brand new style and all that. But in reality, you know, I've heard other nasal rappers before a long time ago in the old school, you know, and it's funny because the old school stuff never dies, man, and it's always cool to, you know, have a little bit of that aspect in your music, man, you know.
It's a mixture of both old school with our new school flavor, you know, old school beats, new school production. You know, it's a matter of the chemistry, you know. As a matter of fact, Muggs ain't here right now because he's back home working on our new album. He's putting some beats together. After this, we'll probably go over there, swing over there, work on the new little flavors and all that. And by the way, I should mention that it is not at all crossover. You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
So with that, we'll get to the next video, which is PMP.
Eric and Pash and in the house with another dope, successful album.
Arrows, that represents that we all come from some kind of tribe or another.
All four corners of the world.
You know, your ancestors, you know, were from some kind of tribe. Everybody lived a primitive life at once, and everybody was tribe, you know what I mean?
And we all knew the same language.
And we put the weed leaf on there too, because we believe that, you know, cannabis hemp could do a lot of good for, as far as environmental purposes and medicinal uses and stuff like that. And it's proven fact that it does.
And not only that, if you notice anybody who's involved with...
What up, y'all? Slide on over.
Anybody who's involved with the pro-cannabis movement, it goes beyond color, you know, so in a way it kind of brings people together.
I've always had white friends and Hispanic friends and stuff, so, you know, to me it doesn't matter what you are, we're all human, you know, we could all cool out together, and that's what the neighborhood's all about.
You know, it's not some kind of statement that we make, it's just these other people we've grown up with, and, you know, we're all down together like a family.
Were your family supportive of you, or are they now, of your choice of career?
Well, my family has always been into music. Far back to my great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers. They've always been singers or musicians of some kind or another.
Your brother?
Down to my brother and myself, you know, my mom and dad. Music has always just been there. You know, I just didn't know what kind of music to fall into, you know. So rap was the first thing I ever tried. I don't play no instruments, but, you know, I like doing vocals, you know what I'm saying? And my family, even though they don't know what Cypress Hill is about, they know that we're a successful group, and that makes them happy.
Yeah, my mother, she knew about it, but I kept it under wraps through all my family because basically they didn't care to know me before, so now they're all coming out the woodwork. So I'm like, you know, hey, whatever. But it's like they, you know, my real family knows who they are. Even though we're, you know, you have people that are related to you, but they're not family if they don't treat you like it. And that's, you know, I'm like, yeah, go back to the woodwork.
9-3 on the sunset call.
And if you're willing to assist on the sunset call?
Where we're going to is apparently there's someone that's very drunk at the Sunset Hyatt House on Sunset. He's on the, what, 12th floor?
901.
9th floor. And he's throwing chairs out the window on the Sunset.
Let's not get hit by a chair here.
And we're just chilling over here.
Talking about some favorite songs of ours on the album. Why don't you tell them two of your favorite songs?
A couple of my favorite songs, especially to perform on stage, Hand on the Pump. Hand on the Pump. We get to be rowdy, you know, we get to express ourselves in a rowdy manner. And I like that word, you know what I'm saying? I like the beat, you know, and the Duke of Earl. I don't know, there's something about that song that really makes the crowd jump, you know? Another one of my favorites is Latin Lingo, and I think I feel that because, you know, it's a whole attitude wrapped up in the whole song, from the beat that kind of like takes you all the way through the song to like the lyrics, which actually explain more or less what it's like to live out here. The whole attitude, what you got to look out for, you know, what the police is capable of doing, what other gang members are capable of doing. So It's like an attitude wrapped up in a 4-minute track, and I like it.
I can dig it.
What about you, man?
Well, I like Pigs. I like Pigs for one because you know, it's a pretty rowdy song, and for the fact that when the bacon sizzles in the pan, it makes for good sound effects in the speakers. But you know, we got to punch on the issue it's been talked about from NWA to Ice Cube to Ice-T, you know.
Yeah.
And we got to enlighten people on corrupt police officers, you know, because people tend to be naive about, you know, situations like that.
Yeah, you know, he toured around the world off his album, you know, and he recently just finished his new album, and he just shot his video. And all that stuff's gonna be dropping like next month. And you know, he's cool, and he got some nice songs on there. Funky in the Joint, Funky Muñeca. You know him, he's on the bilingual tip, real heavy, so.
He kind of was one of the first rappers to introduce the whole Latino edge of things.
He was the first rapper to come across big that the whole world recognized. Because when I first got into hip-hop, it was a lot of black and Puerto Rican kids. But as soon as they made it, it's like you never seen the Latino kids. All you saw was the black kids. And I always wondered, well, what happened to, you know, Ruby D and all them guys, you know. And Mello, you know, his record was the first to, like, let people know that it's now more than just the blacks doing rap. You know what I'm saying? The Latino kids are good at it. The white boys are good at it.
At that, the first to cross over at that.
Yeah.
You know, to the mainstream and get the general public hip on the bilingual swing, you know?
Yeah. He had a very big record, real big record.
And does that filter through to you guys as well, with that influence being there?
That's totally different than where we're coming from. I mean, we're all from the same school, and you know, he taught Mello his bilingual skills. But as far as Mello's thing, you know, that's Mello's thing.
Yeah, you know, Mello, he's Mello. You know, he's gonna stay where he is. You know, us, I kind of could say that when Mello's record came out, me and him were already doing demos, so we already were focused with what we wanted to do. You know, and Mello was a part of our original group called DVX. That was us two and him, and he wanted to go solo, and was like, you know, go solo. Then it's cool. You know, we're gonna go for ours. You know. And Cypress Hill, you know, we were doing demos for 3 years before a record company said, hey, that sounds good.
Well, it's Sally Cat puffin' on a hootie Mac. Some think I'm a criminal, but yo, you ain't all of that. Hit you with the baseball bat when you wanna so you wanna around, you get booked on the hill, bro. Kick you with the steel toe, real slow hits from the bong. Make me feel like teaching them, kicking it with chum. Just like Cheech and Chong frontin' with ice cream. Cypress Hill is here to give you a nice dream. Speaking like a roller, so you know it's real tightly. I'm like the funky beat, so why you trying to fight me? Pigs wanna sight me, that's not polite, G.
Muggs had worked with Joe the Butcher earlier in a 783 project, and they were friends and they knew each other. And when we were shopping our demos, we let Joe and Chris hear them, Chris Schwartz. They liked them, but not enough to sign us. You know, they thought we needed more, so they offered us a single deal, and we said nope. Here we are starving for a deal, and we're telling them no. But later on, they came with the album deal, and we came with a proper album, and everybody's happy.
At what point did labels start chasing after you guys?
They never did. No. I like to say that a lot of labels slept on us. You know, didn't think that my man B-Real's vocal delivery was, you know, on the cutting edge, that it could really get across. Or maybe they didn't think that we were talking enough substance in our songs to get across. But I think us three right here, we always had the faith that we could do something with our nucleus.
It's a lot of A&R people that can't relate to where we
proved
from,
that we don't need those record labels with the silly rabbits on them, you know, down with us, you know.
diverse influences. My records are all in storage, though. I got about 5 records at the house.
For real?
Yeah.
So what are those 5 records?
Some old hip-hop, some Ram LZ. I think I got a Jimi Hendrix album laying in there somewhere. Cypress Hill album, Public Enemy album.
Most of the tapes we bring on the road are rock and roll tapes.
That's all we listen to. It's old classic
Black
rock.
Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Hendrix.
A lot of reggae.
You know,
Oldies.
I tell you what, we listen to more of that than we do hip-hop on the road. Because we hear it enough at home and in the studio.
And we're waiting for certain people's albums to come out now.
Yeah.
For EPMD to drop, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, I need some new to listen to. Come on, man.
Funky awareness is trying to get everybody aware on what's going on in the streets and what's going on in parts of the world. But you doing it funky, you know. I think some artists have lost their funkiness to them, and they worry too much on delivering the message, whatever it is they're saying. You start thinking too much about the message, you lose a little bit of the music.
The number, excuse me, go ahead.
Cool. And first things first, you gotta have, your music's gotta be heard so that people say, oh, you know, Cypress Hill's dope, listen to their track. You know, the music first, and then what we're saying is gonna come along. And they say, oh, those 2 brothers rapping are dope, you know. So you gotta hit them first with the funky, you know, and then the awareness part.
Don't matter who it is, it could be anybody. If they ain't got beats, nobody wants to listen to them.
Indeed.
I mean, because you have years of rappers shoving things down your throat all the time.
They're still doing it.
And they're still doing it. And now the whole problem is that the beats ain't as good as they were when they first started.
Yeah.
So we try to, we put the intensity behind it, but we put a little humor to break that so it'll ease it down and say, oh yeah, man, I could relate to that. That was funny because that happened to me, you know? It's like nobody wants to hear, oh, I killed a nigga, chopped his head off, threw it down the toilet and flushed it. You know, all because I wanted money and I had to sell drugs.
Listen to the Ghetto Boys, everybody sold 1 million records.
You know, I mean, for the people who like that, that's, you know, that's them. You know, I guess that's their way. But, you know, we try to put, you know, reality with humor because, you know, when it worst comes to worst, when something bad happens to you and you think about it years later, you laugh and say, I can't believe that happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want to make people think. I can't believe I did that. What made me do that?
Get! Just get on up! Come on! Just get on up! Come on! Get! Just get on up! Yeah! Just get on up! Yeah! Well, it's alley cat, some say it's dirty rat. On my side is my cat. See him all that. Spitting out pork shots, but I'm gonna watch ya. Run and hide, but I'm still coming to get ya. Taking like a peace smoke, coming on a homicide. You talk. Trying to take me for a ride, I'm not a bad guy, but I'm the fucking finger on the trigger when my hand's upon the steel. Letting out a bullet, it's just going booyah. Stuck in my hood, so what you gonna do now? Begin the hunting, but it's no fun. Here it comes, son, yo, I think you better run. Better run more and move a little faster. Second up, and I'm coming to blast you. With my sawed-off shotgun, hand on the pump, left it on the 40. Whoop it on the block, bump my shotgun. The niggas gotta jump. One time for your mind, like this.
What's going on in there?
Really nothing. I don't know why the guy that did the video tried to give it a storyline when it's a freestyle round to begin with.
Yeah, that was some old record company business.
The kid that did the video was like, he just didn't want to do a freestyle video. We wanted to do it all in the alley with the trash can burning, the 40 ounces going, and just rhyming
and
like
the funny effects, you know, like when we switching places.
This guy, he came in with this whole Academy Award idea of his.
With a hooker, police.
We did it all. I mean, and that's it.
He was good. I mean, he's real good.
Great work.
Great work. The video looks good, but the storyline wasn't about. I mean, I put just a little fraction of a message in there, and he tried to put it. He tried to incorporate it more than it really was. Because I said something about a pimp, a hooker, and stay off the crack thing, right? And that was only like a little piece of the song. But yet he incorporated a hooker, a pimp, and another girl,
a cop,
and some pigs. And I'm like, yo.
In a way, it's kind of cool, man. People were trying to figure out that video. You keep trying to figure it out. It ain't about nothing.
Well, when people say, "What's the message in the pimp dead?" Right? Stay off the crack. Stay off the crack and leave the hookers alone. That's the message I be saying. Lay off the crack and leave the hookers alone.
Okay.
That's our message in that song, other than a good time.
To all the funk stuff, like the Zaps and Rogers and, you know, all of that, you know, Kraftwerk. So I think being the funk, LA is like a funk-oriented town, you know.
Yeah.
And then you got your little, I call them bass heads, but they're not, you know, crack addicts. They're the ones that drive around, you know, boom, boom, you know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, you got that, and you put it all together, and, you know, sometimes a group that comes out of LA will like say, man, I don't really like them, but their music's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, the whole difference between the funk and what goes on the East Coast was that on the East Coast, it was always up into up-tempo type rhythms because of the breakdancing thing, you know?
Yeah.
It was straight hip-hop. And on the West Coast, we were more into popping before we got into breaking. And see, funk was like the main music for popping because it was real slow, it had hard bass, and the kicks were, the snares were good for like the movements of what we were doing. So I guess that's what influenced us for the funk side. But you know, he was a break dancer, he's from Queens, so you know, we kind of mixed both feels. So we got, it's like this funky hip hop, but with some conscious, real concept lyrics to it, you know, not just something that's making people think, damn, those guys are ignorant, they don't know what they're talking about.
Cypress, something you can't understand. Well, it's gonna be a long time before I finish. One of the many missions that I have to establish. The light must flip ignite to wet the sight. So if you ain't down, yeah, so punk trying to get you for your idol. What you call the one time to play the role model? No, I think you play like a dog. Next year the shot of a magnum slug. It's on me, coming at ya. Now you know I'm gonna get ya.
Here is something you can't understand.
Did you get a lot of flack when you were first starting out? Because everybody it was like, wow, that's different.
The Navy style?
Either you liked it or you didn't.
Yeah.
That's how we said, well, we'll take it like how they take it, you know. It's because, you know, when I rap, you know, it comes out as like that because when I get loud, you know. And I could only sound like that if I'm getting loud. If I'm talking low like this, I sound like this. So I try to speak low as possible so I don't get anybody annoyed, like, shut up.
I always thought it was on the cutting edge. You know, his voice, I always thought it was like the next step of rap. I always thought like nobody's doing this. And we come out with this guy's voice like that, and then the other background vocals and the slamming music. I always thought it was like, I thought we were kind of like a step ahead of people. But and we were like a step behind because nobody knew about it.
Yeah, you know? People call my house, B there? Yeah, this is B. No, it ain't. And well, people that don't, you know, they call for the first time. Nah, this ain't B. I said, yeah, it's me, man. Ain't nobody else here. And, you know, that's kind of cool because then I could always say wrong number. You know? La, 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 la. I'm doing just what I want to do, but without anybody telling me what to do or how to do it. So I'm my own journalist, I'm my own editor, I'm my own newspaper, you know what I'm saying? And these are the you know,
instead of paper,
of the board
beats,
here.
You know? See, speak his words over some beats.
See, the decisions are made by us three, you know, and we all pretty much feel that whatever we say is what has to be said, you know, however we feel. That's what we put down. So nobody censors us or says what we can't do. You know? So I'm pretty much happy. I'd rather be doing this than having some old fat ass man, you know, telling me, hey, you can't write this because it's this and this and that. No, I can write it, so I'm happy.
Before we even came out with our album, we had already ideas and stuff that we wanted to accomplish, and that was one of them. Another one was being on the cover of High Times magazine, and stuff like that. And you know, as part of our strategy, we like to pre-plan what we do, and that was something that we wanted to do. And
on that particular subject, anyway, you know, we always thought, well, they could help us in giving us the information we need to know, and at the same time, we could make them stronger by educating our audience what they're teaching us. So that was one of the only plans we really had, because we do everything on the field, but that we always thought, what, damn, if we do that, we'll be, you know, we'll be in there. And
what are some of the points that that Normal is trying to educate people about?
Well, they're chopping down rainforests at the speed of light. You know, you could grow cannabis hemp at, you know, at not even 1/3 of the process that it takes to grow a rainforest. It takes, you know, like 30, 40 years to grow them trees. You know, hemp could grow, you could grow at 30 feet high in 6 months. Chop it down and use the fibers for papers. For the same junk mail, they deliver it to your house, you turn around and throw out. You know what I'm saying?
Newspapers and all that. I mean, see, it's a bigger thing than smoking. See, that's what the politicians and everybody tries to counter with. Oh, you know, right away, if we legalize it, there's going to be a bigger drug problem. How could there be a bigger drug problem? It's not a drug. You know what I'm saying? They prescribe uppers and downers every day to people. Every day. And it's legal.
You got to realize that a government that's made of 600-700 people are going to try to tell 3, 4, 5 million what to do, who to follow. You got to have some kind of say-so for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Say, no, well, I think this is good and this, and if you say this, I'd rather have my kid ask me, you know, Pop, these guys from Cypress Hill, you know, they're talking about weed, you know, tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? And instead of the kid going out and reading some newspaper about Cypress Hill, you know, which all they're doing is pointing a finger. A lot of times you don't get to do interviews like this where you can speak your mind. You know?
Do you guys see yourselves as role models?
No.
No?
No, I just see us as some popular guys. I'm not no role model. I never have. I'll tell you right now, I used to be in a gang. I went to jail a gang of times. What's that? What kind of role model is that? And just because I'm doing music now, we're good at it, that shouldn't make me a role model. It should make Ice Cube a role model. You know what I'm saying?
They make us to be the role model. When the parents can't do it and when everybody else can't do it, they look at us for the mistakes that their kids make. And they say, well, they got it from them. You know, and it ain't us, because it starts at the home before anywhere else. I mean, music influences people only to a point. You know what I'm saying? What a person does, that's strictly, it starts from the home or from influences out on the street. You know, they put all that on us. That ain't right, because I'll tell you what, when I grew up, I was not influenced of my wrongdoings from music. It was the people around me in the environment. So when you point the finger at us, it just makes you look ignorant.
Make some noise for the Cypress Hill, y'all. As we attempt to rock Canada. Woo!
We speak for people. We don't try to tell them what they should or shouldn't do, because nobody wants to be preached to.
You know,
we
tell you what we do, how things go on where we stay, and people can relate, because it's happening just about everywhere. Same thing, kids going through what we're going through. You know.
See, we're like their voice. You know, I mean, because I know somebody preaches to me, I don't want to hear it. But if they're telling me in a manner where, like, yo, I've been what you've been through, man, you know. It's what we do is music to make people think about what they're actually doing